If you want to hear an interesting discussion about generative AI in relation to privacy and copyright issues in companies, then you're going to find the next few minutes to be very educational. Welcome to another episode of A Little Privacy, Please. I'm Jason Kravitz, and with me as always is Jenny Holmes. Together, we lead Nixon Peabody's cybersecurity and privacy practice, and we also co-host this video series. Our guest today is Jacob Pietrusik, who leads the intellectual property and technology, media, and telecom practice at Wolf Thijs in Poland. Jacob is going to speak with us today about generative AI, both generally and also from the perspective of an attorney practicing in Poland. First, the basics. Can you just tell us what generative AI is?
And about the generative AI. This is the pretty new technology gaining its popularity due to its ability to generate content looking very human-made content, looking very realistic, like images, audio, or text. It is used in real-life businesses, for example, in marketing agencies or even in IT companies. For example, to create marketing slogans, marketing campaigns, or even software code. In practice, AI-generated content looks like human-made content, and that's why it's so very interesting and so very useful in real life.
Jacob, does generative AI have the potential to impact businesses in their regular course of business?
It creates actually many risks and threats, right? So not only in Poland, but generally, it's not clear who is the author and owner of the AI-generated content. In some countries, like, for example, the UK, there is a concept of computer-generated works. But in Poland, the author can only be a human. So this generates certain questions. If the AI creates, for example, a marketing slogan or a marketing campaign, can I use it for commercial purposes? Is it safe? Of course, from practical angle, there is an answer in general terms and conditions of some generative AI system providers. So according to these terms, usually the user has full rights to use the output generated by the system, or at least has a very broad license. But anyway, it's always risky when it comes to money and big business.
Jacob, are there risks to people or businesses that are associated with the use of generative AI?
So apart from the authorship issue mentioned before, there is another aspect relating to the potential infringements of copyrights, right? So as we know, the AI system is able to create content only thanks to the huge amounts of data and content provided to it on the development stage. When we talk, for example, about images, it's unclear whether what's the relation between the original images and the new AI-generated images, and whether the new images should be regarded as derivative works. Right now, it's not clear whether you need a permission from the original author to use the AI-generated content, and whether the AI-generated works should be qualified as kind of derivative works.
And what about privacy? Are there privacy issues implicated by this use of AI?
Yeah, this is another very important layer. First of all, it should be specified that AI tools can be dangerous when we feed them with confidential information. So AI tools look like simple apps that we normally use, for example, translators or chats. But we should remember that all data provided to the system is retained on some server and then used to train AI models. In other words, everything that we give as the input data can later on be used to create output for other users. This means that when, for example, employee provides a software code to the system or a description of a patent or invention, which is very often one of the most valuable business assets of a company and strictly secured business secret, then the same or similar code can potentially be generated for other users. So this is very practical risk, which is not fully identified by the employees. The same applies to personal data. When user gives personal data to the AI system, specific data protection issues arise, including the information obligation towards data subjects, scope of processing, retention periods, or international data transfers. And this last issue is a very sensitive issue for EU-based entities transferring data outside the European Economic Area, for example, to the US.
Has Poland enacted any laws that restrict private use of the technology in a company environment, for example?
On the level of European Union, actually, there is a pretty advanced legislative process aiming to regulate the AI in general, so including general purpose AI systems. So there is a draft AI Act This is a regulation providing general legal framework applying to AI system with special focus on high-risk AI systems. The AI Act will impose specific regulatory obligations and requirements regarding risk management, data governance obligations, transparency issues, and many more. Additionally, there are two proposed acts regulating liability issues. So the new Product Liability Directive and AI Liability Directive. First one dealing with liability for AI systems, which will be qualified as products. And the second one provides specific procedural rules relating directly to the AI.
That's going to do it for this episode. Thank you so much to Jacob for spending a few minutes for us. And thanks to you for joining us on this episode of A Little Privacy, Please.
Actually, Poland is a beautiful country because we've got a sea, we've got mountains, we've got everything here. So